Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, and welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and here I am joined by, I guess, this is your third time maybe, Mannie.
That's about right.
Yeah, but we're here with Mannie G from EB, man, El Batallon. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Blessed. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's been quite a few months since we last spoke.
Yeah.
And I feel like things just kind of fly by quickly, man. But
Yeah.
Obviously we've seen the team just have a really good season overall, and we'll talk about a little bit about that. One big thing that we want to talk about with you, it's about the supporter group. Obviously, the life of the supporter group. How is it doing right now? Pretty active, lots of games, and a big final coming up, man. But before we get fully kick-started of kind of the current news, we did mention that you're a big Pachuca fan. Pachuca did play Dynamo. So
Yeah.
Just wondering if you were at that game, how did you enjoy that matchup? Something that hadn't happened in quite a long time, man.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. Obviously, it was good to see. Pachuca wasn't in the best form as they are right now. They're kind of lower half of the table currently. Generally in Mexico, they had won the Clausura before the Leagues Cup. It was a Clausura, or was it the Apertura? I think it was.
I think it was the Apertura.
The
You're
Apertura,
right.
yeah, they won the Apertura, yeah.
But they rebuilt the whole squad.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely. Like they gutted everything, and Pachuca does that. They'll go back and they'll sell a bunch of players and in any case, I will say, like, I enjoyed it. Lo sufrí mucho menos. Like I suffered a lot less in this match than I did back when we were having those wars in 08 and 09. Sure. Just because Dynamo was really fresh and new. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't, although from the get-go I was putting a lot into it, like 17 years later, essentially, it's, right. There's a sort of direct growth and connection that you have with the local club. So it wasn't as hard or as conflicting as the last matches has been, but it was good to watch. Like the Dynamo at that time, I don't think the offense was clicking as good as it is right now. The offense could still be better. Sure. But a lot of the focus at that time was still about shoring up the back line, shoring up the midfield. And then, what we've seen so far is from that, as they got comfortable and more established, they're able to open up and spread that around a little bit more and finally finish more in the last third. That wasn't the case, at the beginning of Leagues Cup. They were still getting the ball into the last third and then not quite sure how to find a way to finish. What they were able to do and how they were able to hold up with the competition that they were playing against was pretty dope. Leagues Cup in itself, man, was draining. And honestly, if they do this every summer, I don't know that I'm gonna age like a banana.
It was fun though. It was definitely fun. I'm with you though.
It was good to have like soccer to watch every night of the week, like club soccer, and be able to watch it at home. But it was so taxing to go that often to the stadium, and
it was 3 games, wasn't it, at home that we saw? Yeah. So it was Santos, Pachuca, and then obviously Charlotte. So
right.
Very condensed.
Yeah. And the thing about it is they had already condensed this, the season leading up to it.
Yeah.
And then
it's still now, going the same way.
Yeah. It's like I think they were talking about it on Extra Time, man. There's really, most clubs have not had many training sessions, if at all, because they're just going bam, Wednesday to Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. And that's, I'm like, where's the time to train? You'll burn the guys out. So they're just staying in competition. In a sense, it's kind of good, even with, the breaks that we've gotten in between. That's been good for rest, but it's also been good for keeping everyone sharp. And I think it's helping with chemistry and the way that the team is playing right now. But yeah, it's a fun tournament. We'll see how it works out next season, and we'll see how long it lasts. But for sure, it was fun. Even like I said, kind of kicked my ass, man.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned, how condensed it is because literally everywhere else in the world, especially in Europe, that's usually how it goes, right? Like they play weekend, they play during the week. So it was interesting to see it on the MLS side, and yeah, I mean it was great to like just go home. You're not doing much, turn the TV on, and you get some kind of game happening. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then once that ended, it felt weird because you were like, "What the hell do I watch now?"
Yeah, it's like a summer of World Cup. Like once it's done, like, oh, what do I
Yeah,
do with
and
myself?
and I think that's what threw everything off because obviously in the summer we also, I mean, in the winter we had the World Cup happening similar, and then we had the Gold Cup, then you had Leagues Cup, Gold Cup, like it just kind of all intermingles really weird. But there was games every other day basically, and
Yeah.
good games. It wasn't like a crappy game that you were watching, unless it was Austin, playing some. We'll get there, but
Oh my
uh,
God, embarrassing, man.
yeah,
That's
no
shameful.
kidding. But yeah, so like you got some good games, I think overall, and who knows what the feeling's gonna be if they're like continue that tournament or not. I know that Mexicans, teams from Mexico were really complaining about it, just only being in the US. But it's like you signed up for it, you knew what was gonna happen, you knew you can't really do this in Mexico, so we'll see how that goes. But I think they probably didn't expect to be as bad as they did in the tournament, which is
Mm.
pretty incredible that like a team like Querétaro win us further than the rest of the other guys. So
Mm.
I mean, my Chivas was right there, man. They didn't even make the group, so yeah, yeah. They're just some teams that were just like, wow, what are you doing here? But it was fun to see, and but no, I'm glad that you bring up the chemistry that's being built up with the Dynamo, what we've seen all season. I think funny enough, somebody mentioned the playing style. We knew that when they hired Ben Olsen, it was gonna be like this Benny ball, like very defensive scheme, trying to build up, but in quickness and successions. And what's funny is now we're getting Yoga Benito. That's the new thing
Yeah,
kind of happening,
yeah.
right?
Tiki
Uh,
Taka Tejano or
yeah,
whatever they
tiki taka,
call
and
it.
and you're right. I think Leagues Cup was kind of starting that. You started to see, them being able to build up from the back and then move pretty comfortably up the field and have like a couple touches inside of the opponent's box, which was we hadn't seen that. I don't think we've ever really
Mm.
seen that. And all the times that I followed the Dynamo, it wasn't a thing that for them to do a little wall pass in front of the goal. It ridiculous.
Right.
And so it's really good that we're seeing that. But I want to, the perspective in your eyes, you're part of the supporter group, part of the leadership of El Batallon. You guys obviously have meetings at times with like the coach with Ben Olsen. So
Yeah.
I mean, if not necessarily if there's anything that you want to share, but like maybe your feelings like of getting those conversations and the expectations maybe that he has for you guys as the supporters, and obviously the expectation that you guys have for him.
Yeah, man, we have had those conversations with Ben. Ben's a really like a genuine solid guy. A humble dude, like genuinely humble. And I say that after having meetings with like Owen Coyle, where you could tell
Sure.
this was like it's
They're
just
full
him.
of it type of
Yeah, he
thing.
was like scripted, man. It's like this is like a fake modesty shit. And but no, it feels real with Ben, man. And he's gone through some shit himself, had to take some time off. But he talks a lot about letting the players kind of do what it is that they do, like giving them a system. He said a lot of like a lot of like what we talked about that we've been seeing lately, which we haven't seen. It's been a long time since we'd had a Dynamo team that felt like they really played and fought for each other. For a lot seasons, at least for me and a lot of the guys in the group, it felt like it was just a bunch of mercenaries that were kind of out for their own personal stats.
Mhm.
They weren't really gelling together. And maybe not disliked each other, but just didn't particularly like each other.
Sure.
That's just not the case. And Ben talks about how that's all them. That's all like captains and the players and their willingness to engage with each other. And it's just like everybody's having fun and having a good time, and that's reflecting
Yeah.
on the field. But yeah, from like his as far as his expectations from us, I think he echoes the same thing that we do, albeit, him coming from a point of view just coming in where, he was asking, well, what can we do for there to be more consistently? What can we do for the supporters section to be like it was for the semifinal of the Open Cup and some of the other nights that we've had? And it's a fair question. It's a difficult question because and this, over the last decade or so, there's been a lot of broken trust and a lot of broken faith, and just a lot of, there's some callous that's grown. We'd always got a lot of gaslighting from from the regime prior, during your Matt Jordan days and Chris Kennedy days, where we would ask and we would demand for more, and they're like, we are doing more. And it's like this gaslighting, like mentally abusive relationship and partner.
Toxic relationship.
Right, exactly, man. Whereas like after like 10 or so years of
it's like
just
you
being
love them, so you're
bullshitted,
there, but you're taking the abuse.
and that's and that's what we said,
Yeah.
and we had been saying prior to, and we told Ben, it's like that's what we'd been doing prior to this season. Is like essentially us, the hardcore, we've been here and we're just looking for a reason to stick around, just like give us anything, something. But the vast majority of fans and that aren't coming back or haven't come back just yet, despite how well the team is going, I don't think that it's unjustified. I think after, again, after being misled and gaslighted and just overpromised, underperformed, and then still acting like everything is fine.
Right.
It's just like people got tired of it. And again, if you're in a toxic sort of relationship that gives you that sort of manipulation and abuse, just because the new person comes in doesn't mean that all of those scars go away immediately, right? There's walls that are built up, and it takes a lot of work to get the community to trust you again and to say, I'm gonna spend my dollars here again. In a blue collar city, where the finite amount of life that you have and the finite amount of time that you have, when a company says we're going to pay you this much for that time, and then you say, okay, I want to spend my spare time and the money that I was paid for the amount of time that I'll never get back, I'm going to spend it here.
Right.
And when you get to a point where it's like, yeah, fuck this, I'm not going to spend it anymore. It's going to take a lot of effort to get people to trust that again, to make them feel like it's worthwhile to go out there, because there was a lot of love, I think, and investment emotionally from the fan base and the city over a long time. And it's not the fault of those who are in charge now and new ownership and Ben, but lamentably, you pay for the sins of those that came before you. I want to see more people there. We're getting a lot more interest we're seeing a lot more new blood come in through our ranks. It's just because they're so much younger, it's a lot less consistent. And that's okay, because you're building roots, you're building foundations. And then that's kind of what we had with, or what we spoke about with Ben. And then really what we told him was, well, I don't know that we can ask any more than what you're doing. And it might just be because we were just so jaded for so long that, and like you said, I haven't seen this kind of football being played on a field where it was our team.
Right.
We've had teams that were scrappy and that would, fucking fight tooth and nail, man. And they would, make you grind out, and they would get that point, and then they'd have like flashes of brilliance. But for this, like consistent, like pretty soccer to watch, week in and week out, I mean, what else can I ask of them? It's
and it must
fruit.
be, I mean, and they still have that grit in them. And
no, absolutely. And there's the thing, like there's
that's
underlying.
Yeah, it's like you have players that are not afraid to be physical, right? With the new additions of Arthur, Mikel, Sviatchenko. A lot of these guys are not afraid. It's not like it's beautiful Barbie soccer. Like they're actually are able to take down, the opponent and then build off and make it pretty. Tiki taka, man, all the way. But I like the point that you mentioned about the chemistry. I think we did see it a lot, especially maybe it's something that was really much needed, right? Whenever the season started, we saw so many players leave, like basically like 90% of the team that we're used to seeing for the last 3 years, and then get this brand new team, but with a healthy Hector Herrera, which I think he took upon himself to kind of create this atmosphere. I mean, how many times did you see anybody else like hang out in social media other than maybe like somebody that was from their same nationality or something like that in the past? Here, it's just really fun to see. And then obviously you have like the Amin Bassi, right? He hanged out with you guys.
Yeah.
Wednesday night. When has that ever happened? It's
Very rarely. I think
right.
once back in Robertson, man, and that was about it, and it was very brief. So yeah, that does not happen often here.
Right. So it's like, the connection. I tell people all the time, obviously during the season it's very difficult to make it to some games, like whether you're a Dash fan or a Dynamo fan or whatever it is. But then there's that other team, right? Dynamo Dos. And it's really difficult to make those games sometimes being on Sundays. But you'll run into guys like Amin Bassi. You'll run into guys that show up to those games and they're not afraid, or more than they're happy to go take a picture with you, to talk to you, whatever it is, just being, and that's something that we never really saw before. Even last season, I remember seeing Mati Vera, go up, and they always had like 2 or 3 security guards around them, like, hey, don't come near me type of thing. And I mean, of course, you do feel for them safety. There's still a couple nut jobs that you don't know what they could do to a player if they come too close. But at the end of the day, like, it's really fun to see the team and these players that are brand new to the city kind of fall in love, and maybe they've never had that before, right? I think that's another thing too that I think fans don't really realize. It's like, these guys have been professional. They played in teams in Europe or wherever they're coming from, but maybe they just didn't feel that much love like they're getting here, even if they're not, because they weren't stars over there. Here they're working out and they're doing well, but even then, they're just like good characters, man. I mean, you see teenage Amin Bassi after a game go celebrating near you guys. Like, it's just a different vibe altogether.
Yeah, no, I'm completely in agreement with you. I think the last time we've got someone that we could was probably with De Rosario, man, somewhere around 2008 when we would go and watch like the reserves play at U of H, and he would be there and hang out. So I mean, and just like you said, guys like Bassi, guys like Herrera, and some of the other guys who have played in Europe and South America. It might not be the what they're used to as far as fan interaction. There's this apprehension because fans and paparazzi out there can be pretty brutal at times,
Yeah.
and can kind of see these players not as human beings but as commodities, like that they're entitled to, and grab at them and like get in their space, and not be considerate of them and ask and just, I don't know, try and talk to them like they're fucking people. So maybe there's a little bit of that too. So it's good to see, it's good to see that they're feeling that comfortable enough to come out here. It's also good to see that they are showing a desire to come out and interact directly with fans. I think it means a lot, especially to a lot of especially like the hardcore supporters that may have felt for a while unseen or unappreciated. I think it resounds quite a bit, and it's good to have that sort of conversation and that comfort with the players and the team. It means that they're having a good time. I mean, I mean, Bassi was there. Bassi was there in the section for a while, but there's some pictures floating around where you can see with EB that Boniek's twins were hanging out with us.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, sorry, my dog is getting on the counter. Sorry about that. So Boniek's twins and Hector's kid was there, and they were getting wild with us. So it's I mean that's a huge show of like faith and confidence to be like, all right, I'm gonna let my kids hang out with the barra, right? With the ultras, like in the rowdiest, and I know that they're gonna be okay. So that's not lost on us. That means a lot. And even on days where it's difficult to go in on a Wednesday night, coming straight out of work. After the Astros had played at 1 p.m. because holy shit, man, just from I was in clinic and at work on Wednesdays. I'm on a satellite location in Memorial City.
Yeah.
And it was an hour and 20 minutes, man, to get to get to the stadium. And that's because I don't have to go pick up kids or drop kids off,
Right.
And my wife's got her own car. So imagine for so many in the Houston area where that's not the case, especially as close as you are to the East End, where they're working in the port or in Baytown or out north, man, and they're coming all the way into the city, and then to grab the kids, and it's just not feasible, man. It's for a blue collar town for the way that it's scheduled, and it's different. Like you said, it's hard to come out. So when they do come out, the guys that we have in our group that do make the sacrifices and do come out, it's a lot. Like I said, earlier about like you got finite time, man. And to
Yeah.
say like they want to spend it here with you and they want to spend it here on this, and spend their money that they have. Yeah, I see. I think, like I said, with regards to the team, where last time we spoke, there was a lot that needed to improve, but I liked where we were going. I think we were on the right
Mhm.
path, and I'm seeing that as well, with the fan base. I think it's going to take a little longer because it's not as direct and intensive as far as the growth and relationship that can be done. But I think we're going to see, some sparks when we get into the playoffs, and it's
Yeah.
going to lead into something really good, for next season. As long as there's no new major pandemic that shuts everything
No,
down.
of course. No, and it's funny that you say that because you're talking about the fan base. Obviously, we know how much the fan base has been hurting. Uh, Even with the team playing really well, being really strong at home, it's hard to get people out there even on those weekend games, and which is sad, right? Because I feel like the team they're playing well, they deserve to have more
So
fans.
well, so
That's for
well,
sure.
yeah, man.
And so one thing that I was, mentioning to you was that even though most of the stadium can be empty, I've liked the fact how the supporter section has always, been pretty full. Obviously weekdays are difficult. We understand that. But for the most part, it's just uh in the past, I think I even mentioned to you how I felt like that was like the heartbeat can be the supporters section of the fan base, right? Inside the stadium, just because you guys are the ones drumming, you guys are the ones chanting, keeping that atmosphere going and developing it throughout the game. But it's also really fun just to see how that is progressing because, like you said, the playoffs are it's a reality. A lot of
Mm.
people laughed at me when I predicted for the team to be in fourth place, and I
Here we
took
are.
it. And here we are, right here, and I just took it as like at first I will be bluntly honest, like I was very not super happy with Ben also being hired, like a lot of people, just because I was like, maybe this team just needs something brand new, something brand new. But we knew the experience, the amount of experience this guy had, knows the leagues, played the league, coached the league, like he breathes and lives MLS. So it was great to see that. And I feel like it's still going to take some time, like you mentioned, about the remaining of the fans. But playoffs being here, it's a big freaking deal because I remember the last time we were in playoffs. That's literally why I became a full-time season holder and I kind of like never like look back because of that, and I went. The one that I obviously most memorable was definitely the Seattle game that we got whooped.
Oh,
But that
oh,
atmosphere, that was like a beautiful November, like crisp
yeah.
November night. Everybody was like in unison. It was just a beautiful experience. So I feel like if we could get a something like that, that is going to bring a lot of the casual fans, probably to fall in love with it, or even the ones that were fans before to kind of come back to it.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a need for the catalyst. When Achi came in at first, last season, we saw a significant bump, but as there wasn't a difference in play, or a huge difference in play, that kind of waned off, and that was sad because it seemed like for a lot of people they're like, oh, here we go again. But
Yeah.
but with this and what's been built this year, and I'm hoping we can retain the majority of what this team is for next season. If we make in which I fully believe this team can make a solid run and be a contender even, to be in that cup final. If we can make that solid run, then yeah, it's gonna wake people back up that we're back and it's time to hop back on. Come on back home. And because yeah, there's got
Yeah,
to be
you're right.
it's nights like those, just like you said, that night was the big one for you. That's what anchored you in, right, and reeled you in. There's got to be nights like those that you can look back to, that are going to remind you why you keep coming in 115 degrees fucking
Yeah.
weather during the middle of
Yeah,
the
you're
season,
right. Yeah.
right? And he's like, that's what's going to keep you coming. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I am, more than cautiously optimistic. I'm excited about
Sure.
what's rumbling and what's
Yeah.
going on. I still think the club, and we spoke to them about it when we spoke to Ben and some of the other FO that was there. That what the push that they tried to do with media for the semifinal for the Open Cup, that should be a similar type of push that they should be doing on local media everywhere. I think they did okay with like the YouTube stuff with 713 night, but it's like sometimes a little like too little too late,
Yeah.
and too close to the date. It's just, but that needs to be consistent. They need to be in like people's faces
Yeah.
quite a bit more. But with what the team's doing and getting these playoffs, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about
Yeah. And I mean,
what's coming.
at the end of the day, like you said, you have to be very cautious because the Western Conference in general is pretty close, right? So
Yeah,
you get a couple, losses in a row and you may see yourself out of it. You just don't know. That's how it goes, right?
yeah,
It's like everybody's trying to get ready for the playoffs, but you're not there till you clinch a playoff spot.
absolutely.
And I guess that jumps into this match, right? This weekend in Kansas City. We're gonna get a little bit of, you get a win in Kansas City, you get closer to that, precious postseason spot that everybody's kind of super anxious, and you're right there. You feel it, but you don't want to let it escape. And that's kind of, and we know Kansas City is a good team. It's been a rivalry match for quite a long time. Right now they ended up just losing at home. I think 3-0 or yeah,
Yeah,
it
and they
was
had a super rough start, man. They had like one of the worst starts I think that they've had in a long time since they rebranded. And then, they had a little bit of resurgence, but there's been some inconsistency there. If there were ever a time right now where we can capitalize and get another point or a dub away,
yeah.
I think this is it. You're going to be out there, right? You had mentioned
Yeah. So
you're
I'll be
traveling out
out
there.
there
So
with my brother. We'll be covering the game. So we picked. And I was telling you, we'll talk a little bit about the U.S. Open final, but we picked this game like in the early summer, and then knowing the final was right on Wednesday, I was like, man, well, this is not as exciting anymore. You know how it is.
wait, you're not excited to be surrounded by an outlet mall in the middle of fucking Kansas City
Yeah,
suburbia?
yeah. It's very similar to Frisco, man. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
no, absolutely right. Just like just such vibrant fucking
Yeah, just
areas.
the best part of town, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's definitely gonna be a short trip, 24-hour trip, man. We leave like Saturday morning, come back Sunday morning. So it's gonna be one of those, we're just there
Yeah,
purely
straight to
business.
business, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's it.
I know those trips very well, man.
Yeah, and that's funny because whenever I got into being a season ticket holder, I made it like I need to go to one game at least away. And 2018 I did, 2019 I did, and then 2020 happened and just crap the
Mhm.
bed, man. So
Yeah.
this is the first one. No, I went to Dallas last year, but yeah, this is the first one further away from Texas. So I'm definitely excited, but yeah, definitely knowing that there's a game on Wednesday. There's gonna be epic, no matter the result. I think for the
Mhm.
Dynamo, already kind of being able to be on the Champions Cup, it's already a big deal. But of course, man, you want that trophy. We want
Yeah.
that trophy.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so we'll keep it short. Obviously, Kansas City. We hope the team gets a good result. I'm expecting a lot of rest, play for players. Maybe we won't see Ache. Obviously, Coco was out this Wednesday. Vasi was out, and then Sviatchenko. Coco and Sviatchenko was because of sorry, not Sviatchenko.
And we
Escobar.
still scored 5 goals,
Yeah, yeah,
even if one
exactly.
was on ourselves, but we still scored 5 goals. So
That's one thing, just about that game. The reaction to Steve Clark after that goal was incredible. Like, he was just pissed. And y'all were throwing streamers at the guy, and he was like punching them in the air, just because how angry he was that he didn't get the clean sheet.
yeah, the clean
And
sheet.
and I mean, it's
Good.
understandable. I mean,
Good.
that's
No,
good.
no,
That's
good.
leadership,
Yeah, I
man.
want to see. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to
Yeah,
see that because that means he demands more of himself.
exactly,
Like he
exactly.
expects more of himself.
Yeah, you're
And
right there. That's what we saw with St. Louis too. 87 minute, they scored towards the end. So
yeah.
that brings back some PTSD to the old Dynamo days of like
Yeah, no shit, right?
effing it all
Here we
up.
go.
But yeah, so hopefully this Kansas City game, I mean, away games are always difficult. You hope a point, it's something they can get. If they get all three, that'd be great. If they lost, you kind of understand it, right? Away games are like that. But then again, Wednesday night, man, this is gonna be, I don't know what they're branding in. I think everybody that it's been in the MLS for a while kind of hates the whole messy everything. You go to Apple TV, literally you have to scroll down like 5 minutes to get away from messy related content.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I like Messi because I'm a Barcelona fan, like growing up. But I'm not somebody that's gonna sit there and watch like the dude eat, and what he ate and what he read.
Mm.
That doesn't really jog with me too much. It's not of my interest. But yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna be at the game, and I just want to, maybe I know there was a set of I guess of tickets given or provided for the supporter groups. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that and kind of what you're expecting for that road trip, man.
Yeah, man. So, you know, Miami hasn't been the most cooperative and accommodating,
You
and I
don't
get it.
say.
Yeah. I mean, they've gone through a lot of lengths to get the players that they've got, so I get it. But man, they really are just the quintessential, just an example of what's ruining the game right now,
Sure.
especially like what they're charging for their own fans. If anyone who got a season ticket there is golden.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's going on there is just it's a little sickening, and it sucks because I think it kind of mires everything that Lionel has done. I'm a Valencia fan, and so I was never a huge Barcelona, but it was just to watch the man do what it
Yeah.
is that he can do is incredible. We're talking about the greatest player in our generation and his generation. And I at my age, I had the privilege of watching on TV guys like Ronaldinho, like Figo, and Zidane, and fucking Ian Robin.
I mean,
So
throw
there's some
Ronaldo in
amazing,
there, right?
yeah, yeah, of course, oh,
Yeah.
phenomenal, bro. And
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so I got to watch these guys, and then to see what this little dude could do, man. It really like he took the world by storm. So I get that they're for the amount of money that the entire league is playing on him.
We're all paying
You know
for
why?
it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, right. So I get it why they're bringing in. Kind of sucks because we're getting these young kids that I know are fans of him, but they're trying to get into the section with like a Miami
sure.
jersey. I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta move along. In any case, though, Miami hasn't been super cooperative. Lamentably, they only allotted us, at least for the supporters, 100. But I can't really be too mad because I think it was closer to either 150 or 200. But
Mhm.
Ted did a really classy move and decided to fly and pay for and fly out everyone from staff and front office and
Nice.
like their families and whatnot to be there as well. This is a
Sure.
big moment, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't know when the next time is that you're going to be in a final, and then a final like this where the greatest player in the world that just won the World Cup with
Right.
Argentina a few months ago, less than a year ago, is going to be there. Well, we expect. Who knows? Because he's got a knock, and if
Sure.
he's got a knock, and he's not there,
Yeah. That'd be
I'm
fun,
rubbing
right?
my
Yeah.
hands like an evil
Hey, if
fucking
he
villain
if
over
he's in
here,
the
man.
support or if he's in the stands signing babies and all kinds
Yeah,
of that's
yeah,
better for
absolutely.
us for the
Right, right.
Dynamo.
Absolutely. But I mean, this is a big deal. Any cup final that you get into, it's a big deal because if you're a Dynamo fan, and if you've been with this club long enough, you realize that a chance at a title isn't a given, and you can go a long time and with a drought. So this is big. We are going out there. The majority of us are flying, and we've got some hospedaje, some
Yeah.
accommodations and whatnot set up. The team, our front office is going all out. They're doing a tailgate and get stuff set
Nice.
up there
Yeah.
at the
Right.
stadium parking lot. That information will come out as soon as we have the final details. Which again, it's Thursday night, and the
I
fact
know.
that they haven't given us these details of where they're going to have it, they like even with regards to the tickets, man, it was like pulling teeth. I mean, if I had hair, I would have been pulling it out because I was stressing. They just weren't giving us a lot of info. Apparently, they were still trying to get this like move to Hard Rock. That didn't work out because of like the
I guess
ownership
that's
conflicts
probably
there. Yeah. Well, I think there's like an ownership conflict with an investor from like either the stadium, Hard Rock,
no.
or
Okay.
the team because of like Miami FC. So
Right.
there's like that sort of like issue there. Anyways, it didn't happen. And then it was the our front office trying to get everyone from the staff set up. But finally, yeah, the discount they gave us isn't much of a discount. I think it's the most I've ever paid. This is like premium, like
That's like a third of
knockout.
what
No,
you
it's
pay.
like,
It's
yeah,
like a
no,
third of what you pay for a season ticket, basically.
dude, no, yeah, for sure, man. No, it's more. It's like almost like 2/3, depending
Okay,
on like where it is that you get where you get the
sure,
ticket, right? But it's like it would be like paying like this sort of price. Um, I've seen Champions League tickets,
yeah,
like European
yeah,
Champions League tickets, final tickets that weren't this fucking expensive, man.
right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's pretty ridiculous. But we're taking that lemonade and we're making some or we're taking the lemons, right, and making some margaritas or
Hey, if you're
or
gonna
some
take,
palomas with it, man. Fuck that lemonade.
yeah,
But like I said, we're gonna put out the information. There's gonna be a tailgate area for any and all Houston fans, wherever it is that you are, that we're gonna be gathering there. There's a lot of people that had to buy their tickets elsewhere because again, they weren't really giving us like one singular section and weren't
sure.
giving us a lot of news. So everybody who's gonna be out there, we will put that information out there. We'll put it on all our social medias to know where it is that we're gonna be set up. Yeah, man, we're going out there with the expectation of giving them hell and doing what it is that they've been doing, whoever it is that's on the field, and with the belief and the faith that we're coming back home with the cup. Despite being the underdog, we've been there before as the underdog. We've been in this situation before, and if they don't, man, as long as I just want to see them fight for all of it. Just being there with my EB family and my
Yeah,
Dynamo family and being there with those boys. Like I said, it's about being in different atmospheres and in different spots on the map on the globe with these people that I love and I cherish, and spending that time with them and sharing these experiences. Whatever it is that happens, it's gonna it's gonna be a part of me forever. So I'm super excited and I cherish and relish these moments, man. So yeah, it feels great that we're going out there in bunches. I feel like we could have gotten a lot more people out there had Miami not been doing what it is that they're doing.
sure.
But it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. It's where we're at right now. It's where the league's at. Hopefully, this starts to like cool down somewhat once the circus kind of calms down next season. But we'll see. But yeah, man, just trying to get through Saturday first. Hopefully, get a result out of that because the boys got to travel from there straight into Florida, and I don't I think they're playing it by ear with um Messi and was it Busquets? I think also
I
they got
think
a
it was
knock, or
Jordi.
was it
Jordi
Jordy?
Alba
Jordy,
was
it was
one that
Jordy.
got a
Yeah,
knock too, I
yeah,
think.
Jordy got a knock. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but this is the way the game goes, and I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure the players would love for Messi to be on the field, right? Because if you beat Miami team with a
It's
Messi,
that much sweeter.
exactly, it's that much better. That and even as a fan, right?
Yeah,
You get bragging rights. It is like, hey, Houston beat Miami in the
yeah,
final, like with there's no buts or ifs. It's like
yeah.
that is what it is.
No asterisk. Which
Exactly,
people love to put asterisks on Houston's
bro. So
championships, man.
tired of
Oh
that.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Jordan wasn't there. Oh yeah, we're
yeah.
banging trash cans. There was only 12 teams in the league. It's like, man, go fuck yourself, all right? He's like, don't take this from me.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. It's like, but then if it's like you couldn't do it, who
Yeah,
can
right.
blame us?
Yeah.
Maybe you should have banged the trash cans harder, guys. Come on. Yeah, I could have done a better job of that. But
Yeah.
hey, well, going back, I guess, to Wednesday too. I don't know if I mean, sorry, Saturday against Kansas City. Were you guys having a watch
Yeah,
party or
yeah,
anything like that?
yeah. A few of us are getting together at our usual base, Texas Tailgate. So, what, like I've said before, what we love about that place is that they'll work with us with regards to letting all ages in for this sort of thing. So,
I saw that
bring people out.
the Dynamo had a party for you guys, like an official watch party.
Yeah. There was a watch party that came through a couple of matches ago, and so that was pretty dope, man. They went out there with the whole staff and had their giveaways and whatnot, and they were had some free booze if you I don't know, played some little games that they had there. But yeah, man, it's fun overall. Texas Tailgate's a pretty laid back space and it's right across the stadium. So that means it's right, right on the shadows of downtown, East Downtown. It's equally inconvenient to everyone, no matter where it is that you live. and it's one of the few bars that actually has some parking in that area for itself. So yeah, we'll be out there. We've got we got some away traveling shirts. that we put up on our social media. And anybody who did like the pre-sale, they'll be able to come pick them up. We'll also just have them for sale there as well. So if they plan on traveling with us, then pick one up. And we've got a couple of other designs that are coming out as well, kind of a little more general designs to be able to purchase. So we'll have that there, and we'll be sharing some finalized details with any of those who are traveling within our group. So hey, if you're traveling and if it's not directly with EB, or if you're not in the Dynamo away day group, and you want a little more information, come on by. Come on by. Don't be shy. Ask us what it is you want to ask, and we can give you those details if you're interested.
And that's the
Yeah.
best way to connect, right? In general, if they want to just join EV,
Oh,
try to hit you on social media, but meeting the people in person is what you guys prefer, right?
always, always. Yeah. Just like I said before, you can always hit us up on social media, but trust me that the most important thing is to show us that you're willing to come out of your comfort zone. Show us that you're willing to come out, because that means the world. It's easy to
Twitter
hide
fingers.
behind that. Yeah, exactly. It's easy to like just type in, but when you really when you get past that anxiety and come out and really like show yourself, and that means a lot. It's a good first impression like that. So come on out, man. Don't be shy. If you see us, stop by and it's like, hey, you're so and so. I've seen this, or I've seen the pictures of you and whatnot. Yeah, man, what's up? And we'll probably have a shot or something together if you want, if you got time
Sure.
for it. And but yeah, man, come on out, get those details, come and meet us, hang out. It'll be a good time.
I guess, dude, we probably won't talk again. I mean, granted, you're able, if you ever want to come in, just text me and be like, hey, I want to talk soccer. You're more than welcome to come join. But I just thought about it, man, in my head. I mean, we've talked about how quickly the games are, and we'll get the Texas Derby like, next Saturday.
Yeah,
Huge game. We know how
yeah,
like that. If people come for a game, that's the game people come out to.
absolutely, man.
Yeah, that's a big game. So I guess winding down the conversation, just expectation, man. How can people join? How can people go and at least I think we have two games, right? I think it's Dallas and
Mhm.
then Colorado. I think that's it.
Colorado, yeah, Dallas and
That's it.
Colorado at home. Yeah, those are
So
the last home games for the season.
that's it for now till hopefully playoffs get clinched, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, those matches. Those matches are
Mm,
big.
mm.
I'm sure you guys like mark it in your calendar, uh,
Absolutely.
and are ready to go.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, again, the fans have to show up, man. I guess that's when you guys see the most fans in your section altogether. Everybody trying to
yeah,
get that quote unquote cheap ticket too,
yeah,
and they
right.
don't realize that it's a supporter section maybe at times.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's yeah, there's a reason why it's cheap, because you're going right into the fucking mosh pit. So I would not recommend that you have a bunch of nachos in your hand, because they're probably gonna get knocked out.
Right.
But yeah, man. So that's obviously it's one that we, like you said, we mark on our calendars. It's a big one that we look forward to. It's against Dallas. It's against our main rival and the longest rival that what it is that we've had, even before MLS. So
Yep.
we've got we're working on something special for visuals for recibimiento. So we'll be in there very early, putting some stuff up in our section. But the Hustle Town, the supporters, the collective for the most part, just across like caddy corner where the new Dynamo front offices are from Texas
Sure.
Tailgate. They'll be doing a tailgate out there. It's going
Okay.
to be big. They're going to have food trucks. They're going to have like games. I think they did something similar to this last year with against Dallas. So they're going to be right on the route of our march, which we're doing much earlier. Our pre-match is going to be much earlier. Our kegger party with us, our keg party is, it's you pay your dues for us, $15 gets you a wristband, and you drink it till it floats. Or until we march out, one of the two. Very rarely have we ran out, just because there's so much beer, and then Texas Tailgate and Modelo USA have been amazing in the support for us to help us do what it is that we do, and getting people comfortable and getting people together to do this. So come on out, man. So let it be a big march. From there, like I said, it's just across the street. If you want to check out what it is that the rest of Hustle Town is going to be doing with regards to the big tailgate, they're going to be grilling up food. Like I said, they're going to have drinks there available as well, and games to play. I believe the culmination of the futbolito
Uh-huh.
mark your the what was it? mark your block, or the one that they were recently doing,
I
which
know what
was
you're
actually
talking about. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, yeah. So I believe that the final and the culmination is going to be there starting like around 4 in that
Oh,
same
nice.
parking lot where the new offices are, where that credit union was.
Yep.
So they'll be doing that there. Yeah, man. I mean, this is, like I said, uh, from going from Cup final to fucking Texas
It's
Classico,
going
man.
crazy.
It's
Yeah. Like
this is yeah,
to me,
just
whenever
within a few days.
whenever I told you about like, hey, let's have this conversation in my head, I was just thinking US Open Cup final, which I mean, big deal, obviously, and it's crazy that you guys are going over there. But then, I mean, right around the corner, we have the Texas Derby, which, and that's like, especially since Ache got here. I mean, that was like a big introduction last year,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
didn't disappoint. So those games are always fun. You can definitely cut the intensity with a butter knife, basically in
Oh
the
yeah.
air, man. But it's just one of those that is good. And Manny, man, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Like I said, you're always welcome, and I
Thank you for
like
the invite.
talking to supporters section, and or learning more about supporter section and what's happening. But how can the people like reach out to you personally, or EV? How can they reach out to you in your social medias?
Hey man, hit us up on the DMs of we're Twitter, Threads, Facebook, Instagram. On all of them, we all have a bio link for our link tree. It's got a lot of our information on there. Our YouTube channel is on there now, which over the last month or so, we've been doing some short recordings just for right now the lyrics for voices, but for some new songs that are going to be up there as well. They've got like the song lyrics and whatnot. So check us out on our social medias. It's got a bunch of them, and they're all fairly the same thing. EB La Banda del Dynamo,
Sure.
EB Houston, and we're active. If you're following anything Dynamo, you're going to see us getting tagged and active. So follow us, hit us on the DMs if you have any questions. We've got tickets in our sections. If ever you're looking for tickets in the section, that for the vast majority of games outside of 713, then hit us up. We've got them flat rate, no extra fees at a very reasonable price, usually cheaper than what it is that you'll see on the market at SeatGeek. Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know how much easier we can make it. Just like really just come out. I know, like I said before, it can be intimidating. Trust me, it's not if you
No.
show out. You come in with the right mentality and right environment. If you come in with the right mentality, you'll come into the right environment. So yeah, just come correct and come knowing what it is that you want to do, and that's coming into the controlled chaos and singing and throwing it down for Houston. And man, you're gonna have a great time if you do that. And so just I don't know, man, just let us meet you though. That's really the main thing.
Yeah.
You can hit us up always on social media, and that's cool, man. We love to interact. We do. It's fun. But the best thing you can do is again, like I've said before, let us share in your space and your atmosphere. Let us get to know each other and know who it is that we are, and eventually we'll end up raising cups and breaking bread together, and even maybe like traveling this great land together too, and with supporting our team. So yeah, man.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, man. I think that one of the guys that we know, Hooties, has been got kind of get involved with you guys, and he loves
Mhm.
it. And he's one of those guys that's very active with you guys. I
For
know that
sure.
for sure. Um, but no, man. Again, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing some of the news and kind of what people should expect in the coming Dynamo games. And for all the listeners out there, just make sure to follow us at Bayou City Soccer. Check out BayouCitySoccer.net, and we'll keep covering the game for you guys all, for whether it be Dynamo Dash or Dynamo Dos. But yeah, hold it down and keep it forever orange.